Welcome to our second episode of Chamber Chat. Today we've got our friend and representative from Tennessee's 79th District, Curtis Halford. Representative Halford has recently gotten to spend a little bit of extra time with his beautiful wife, one of our favorite people, Charlotte, since the legislature suspended its session March 19th. And we wanted to talk to him about what's coming up as they reconvene this week. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Amanda. I'm fine. Are you?
Good. So we all know your session ended basically without warning in March. Were there pieces of legislation that you'll be going back to, or did you finish everything that you guys had started?
Oh, yeah, and that's the reason we're here this week. We're actually, we're not having session this week. We came back. There were about 400 bills left just hanging out there like low-hanging fruit, I guess, you know. And so we have to deal with those. And for instance, last night, one of my committees met. We began at 5 o'clock and we adjourned at 8:30. And so we saw 60 bills. So
Wow.
That's what we're trying to get out of the way now, because we anticipate being here maybe 2 more weeks. During that 2 weeks, we will have formal sessions during that to deal with the bills that pass out of committee. So we left a good number of bills hanging there to be dealt with, and that's what we're here for now.
Got it. So after you get those cleared up, what are you looking forward to the docket? What's on the agenda coming up after you get everything cleared up? What's new?
Well, and those bills that we send out of committee will go to the House floor to be voted on. And other than that, we will revisit the budget some. It was a bare bones budget, which is the only thing we're actually obligated to do while we're here. But by law, we have to pass a balanced budget, and we have done that. But that doesn't mean that we can't go back and look at that budget again, and that's what we will do. There are some things in there that need some attention that we probably didn't even know needed attention until all of this happened. So that's our main purpose, is to finish the bills that were left hanging and deal with those and deal with whatever budget issues we have need to deal with, and then we'll adjourn sine die.
Is one of the bills that you're dealing with, or one of the things that are coming up, and this is something we hadn't talked about. News had come out earlier this week about the governor's basically permitless carry. Is that going to come before you guys?
It does not come before any of my committees except calendar and rules. I'm on calendar and rules, so that's the only time I'll see it in committee, and that's the last place it is heard in the House before it goes on the House floor. I did check what's happening today, and it did pass through Judiciary Committee today. So more than likely, I doubt I don't think it'll go to Finance, but it'll go straight to calendar and rules now. Calendar and Rules meets Friday morning at 9 o'clock, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
That's tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah, I know this week's a little crazy. Actually, the last 2 months have been a little, I'm not sure what day it is.
Right.
So you're chair of Agriculture and Natural Resources. We know that this pandemic's been especially tough on some of the farmers and ranchers. Everybody's heard the stories of people having to pour milk out that they couldn't use, and some of the other problems. Is there help on the horizon for any of our ag community?
And a lot of that help, much of that help is coming from U.S. Department of Agriculture, as well as some from the state also. But the reason that you read these stories about meat being terribly, terribly high in the grocery store and things like that. But according to the Tennessee State Department of Agriculture, we do not have a shortage of meat, milk, or anything that you're hearing about there. The problem is the facilities that process these products are closed down.
Right.
So what we have basically is a lag here. As soon as they're able to get back up and running and operating at full capacity again, then those things should alleviate themselves. That ship should be righted when that happens.
So it's one of the things of there's no reason. It's a lot of the ways, and I know that you probably feel the same way. A lot of the ways the government gets out of the way and just lets everything straighten itself out, basically.
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Because there is no shortage.
There's no shortage.
No shortage.
That's good to hear. Everybody's been worried about that, so it's good to hear from you. What are you excited to work on the rest of the session? Is there something that you're looking forward to? Or?
Well, and we're here anytime I'm here, or anytime I'm anywhere, and I tell my staff this all the time. Our number one priority is constituent issues, and some of those are not too exciting. Some of them are exciting, but right now we're dealing with so many issues with unemployment insurance and stuff like that, and labor and workforce development are just swamped now.
Yeah.
They weren't in good shape before we went into this because their equipment was antiquated, and so they were not prepared for this. They have made a lot of adjustments to try to get prepared, but that's kind of like trying to plug a hole in a sinking boat, And but they have just been overwhelmed. But they're doing the best that they possibly can, and just so if any of my constituents are listening, we are doing the best that we possibly can under the circumstances we have, and hopefully we can get past this too before too long.
Right. We've never been here before. None of us.
We have. I looked at the numbers today. We have 315,000 people now that are still drawing unemployment benefits right now, which is I don't know, probably 200% more than we usually have, in a regular atmosphere.
It's scary.
It is.
Now that we've gotten past you can come back to work, and we've talked about what you guys are working on. One of the things, and this is mainly me, just because we've been there so much with Gibson County leadership, and a lot of people that are listening have been through either Gibson County leadership have been to visit, or they come for one reason or another to a committee hearing or to watch what's going on the floor with tour groups, or because they've got something that they're interested in. It's always, and it should be, not tough, but it's stringent getting into Cordell Hull, for instance. How has that changed? What are you guys having to go through to actually get to work?
Well, it's not as difficult for us as it is for you, let's say, or any
Sure.
other visitor. All staff has to come through the 5th Street side, the main entrance. When they come in, they take their temperature, and then they're allowed to go to their offices. But they have to use certain elevators to get to. For instance, Becky has to use a certain one to get to my office.
Right.
So, but visitors, it's a little bit different story. Now they're still going to have their temperature taken, but they're going to be counted. They're going to be counted, and then they're only going to be allowed to go onto the first floor, and they will be designated to an elevator that takes them to the first floor, and that's the only place they're allowed to go, unless they might have made an appointment with my office to come to my office or any other legislator's office. But that's going to be very, very strict.
Yeah.
I'll say. So yes, it's different right now. There's somebody sitting on every floor at the elevators there with sanitizers.
Wow.
That's all he's doing that all day long, is sitting there waiting for somebody to come by. Only 3 people are allowed on an elevator, and you know how many you can pack on some of those elevators sometimes. But there's only 3 allowed on an elevator now, and it's marked off kind of like Pat Sajak takes that person and says, "Stand right here." That's where you have to stand, So,
Wow.
yeah. So it's different. It's
Yeah.
different, but I feel like it's okay. Staff does not have to wear a mask. We don't have to wear one. We do it as we choose,
Mm-hmm.
But as long as Becky's here in the office, just with me, then she doesn't have to wear a mask. But if she goes to a common area outside of the office, let's say to a committee room or something like that, then she does. She's required to wear a mask then.
So everybody that comes to committee that's sitting in the audience of committee is going to have to wear a mask.
Yes. And that's very, very limited to the audience. They're counted. There's staff at the door to count them coming in. And we're using only 2 committee rooms. We're using 1 and 3, which are the largest rooms. And so it has black covers on all the seats. There are very, very few. I don't know how many they seat, but you remember those big rooms. They seat several people. You can't get just very few, 10 maybe, something like that in one of those rooms,
Wow.
And in fact, some of the staff has had to sit out in the chairs out at the audience out there because there's not room for them to be separated up where we are sitting. Now, where we are, there's a plexiglass barrier between every seat. We're not having to skip seats like we did when we left here, but now we have these plexiglass barriers between us. If you go to the podium to present a bill, you do that, and then before the next person comes up to present a bill, they completely sanitize that podium, the microphones, and all that kind of stuff before somebody can use that podium again. So it's pretty strict, and
but you guys are safe, which is that makes a difference. That's what we want to make sure that you guys are safe for sure.
Well, yes, and most everybody around here tries to respect their fellow man. For instance, in the restrooms, I think there's 4 sinks in there. Every other one is blocked off, has tape across it, so you can't use those. You can't be standing right next to each other. Now, we are in close proximity when we're in our seats in the committee rooms, but then the plexiglass barrier is there to keep us from being in direct contact with them. But it's just a different time. It's a different way of operating. We're a handshaking, backslapping bunch of folks around here. We can't do that anymore.
We're a hugging group around the chamber, and that's tough for us too.
I didn't realize just how much of a habit it was. If I saw somebody, the first thing I did was my right hand went out. It was just kind of like blinking your eyes. You didn't even realize you were doing it, until you couldn't do it. So
it's tough. Well, I appreciate you being here. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to your constituents while you're on, or have we sort of covered everything?
No, I would say to my constituents, we're all trying to do the best we can for our constituents, and hope that we are, and don't ever fail to call if you have a problem. I think most everybody in Gibson and Carroll County has my cell phone number anyway. So, and that's okay. That's good. So don't hesitate to call if you think there's something that I can help with. My main role again is my constituents, not necessarily how many bills I can get passed, but what the best that I can do for my constituency.
That's great. We appreciate it, and more than you know. And if there's anything we can do for you, let us know, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.